It's not real! Hooray! Alright, welcome back everyone. We are starting this journey again. This gurney. Let's see if Garner can actually do anything worthwhile. Can't do anything fun.
Nope. We will just be like this until AI takes over. Although I just heard the writer's strike ended.
I saw that in the thing too.
And even more glorious, it passed a temporary budget resolution. It should make everybody feel spectacular in their pants. And apparently we're funding all of Ukraine.
See, and I was watching. I had been watching. What's it called? Tim Pool.
Yeah.
And he had Matt Gates on, and he was like, "Yeah, we're not gonna do that because if we do that, then that'll like defeat the whole purpose of this." And I was like, "Oh, cool. So maybe this time it'll happen." Nope.
Nope.
Yep.
Because they're all the same.
Yep. They're all the same. They tell us what we want to hear, even on talk shows. And then they just spend more money that we don't have, and they don't care. Why do they not care? Because they've made all the money they need. Like, inflation does not affect everyone the same way.
Because they'll just give themselves raises, and they're part of healthcare and other things. I mean, maybe we shouldn't start off so much with the politics and everything, but you know, you do wonder sometimes, right, when you're trying to think of how to do your civic duty and also trying to be so lesson. I don't know if you guys did the same lesson for your Elders Quorum priesthood, but ours was the April conference talk by President Nelson of Peacekeepers.
No, we did. Was not that one though. But it was a different one. But we talk about that talk all the time though, because we both love it so much.
Yeah. And yeah, it's hard to be a peacekeeper and at the same time watch society around you and politicians. But I guess
I want to see them doing what they're doing. That's what makes us so frustrated.
But I guess, I mean, thinking about that, that's a lot of what The Chosen is, to be honest with you.
Right.
They're just like, we're just watching the season 1 again, the one with Nicodemus, which is maybe one of the hardest ones to watch in a sense, because I think more than likely we're all Nicodemus, and we come so close. We leave our effort there by the well.
Right. And hoping that that's like good enough, and that it'll be accepted, and that will lead us to what we're looking for, which is peace and redemption. But it's good. Because for him it's like, it's good that he did that. Like, I don't think so, like this, but the lament of the Savior in that moment is he could have had more. He could have had everything instead of just one little thing, right? I'm sure he was blessed for doing that, but he didn't reach the full potential of what he had, which is sad.
And before he gets to that point as well, he's having this conversation with him, and The Chosen does it really well, and he goes, "Well, this isn't about Rome." And you see that in the scriptures a lot, and you see that with Jews because they're being occupied, and they had this horrible history of always being occupied or enslaved and stuff like that, and they want that relief. And I guess that's where our lesson probably comes for ourselves, right? This year we're trying to be peacekeepers and also seeing what's happening to us as a nation.
Right.
And I guess we just have to think of similar aspects, right? That this isn't
Right.
about Rome, this isn't about Biden, because I don't know how true this is, or if I buy into it completely, but I had this landlord when I lived at Florida, and he said he was having a conversation with somebody about, I don't know, what was that? Oh yeah, I guess it was still Obama. And somebody told him, or he said to somebody, just like, they're in the place they need to be. So even though that feels awful, right? Some of these things, you know,
Yeah.
probably are that divine design.
Well, and it's like yeah. I mean, I look at it as like the mixture of getting what we like. It's gonna sound harsh, but like what we deserve, as in like we could choose. We could always choose to have what we needed to be like the city of Enoch, but we know from Revelation that that wasn't going to be the case. So it makes sense that we have what we have and we're going through what we're going through, because it's, you know, I always have this conversation about, okay, what part of the pride cycle are we in as a nation? Are we in the, you know, third Nephi part where Christ is about to come back and we're going to be redeemed, or are we in the part where we oh crap, I didn't mean to use both of them. Hooray!
Full power.
Yeah,
it's really hard.
and it's like, well, in my mind, we're most likely at the part where, what a disgusting place this is.
And a sewer, right? Isn't that just sewage coming down, streaming down?
Yeah.
And that one's like, that one looks like the secret of the ooze from Turtles. Ooh, doing kind of like a Ninja Gaiden kind of like draw. So yeah, I think, you know, I gotta imagine that we're on the cusp of.
Yeah, I imagine I don't know that we're gonna be on the circle where we get anything back. You know what I mean? Where it's like, we have redemption still ahead of us. It's like, I don't think we do. I think we're at the point where it's the last hurrah, I would say. But, you know, a lot of people said that about World War II. They were like, I'm sure there were people that were like, okay, like, this is it. But it's like, well, probably not.
Are you talking about the beginning of it or the end of it, or in the middle somewhere?
Well, any of it, really. The end of it, probably not so much, because there was like light at the end of the tunnel, maybe.
Yeah.
But like in the beginning and in the middle, it's like, oh man, like how could we possibly come back from this?
Right.
And so I wonder myself, because we talk about, like, you know, the gospel having to be preached throughout the world, and it's like, okay, well, what does that actually mean, and when, and like, when did that count and when did it not count? Like, what is it? I don't know. Like, it doesn't count that, like, there has been Christianity in, say, China, like, at one point. There is right now. They're definitely doing some really crappy things with the Bible and, like, changing what, you know, the Savior said to make it look like, you know, going back to, you know, the Bible has to be translated correctly.
Yeah.
And so it's like, but is that what they mean? Is that like a technicality that's like, oh yeah, that counts? Like, is it that the LDS Church has to be in it? Like, as far as we're concerned, you know, what about North Korea? Like, North Korea, in order for them to be preached the gospel, there has to be monumental shifts, if that's like what we're waiting on. And if you look at it, if you say that's what we're waiting on, it's like, well, man, there probably has to be a whole breakdown of that region before anything like that actually happens.
Yeah, I mean,
and so it's like, well, where are we? Where are we actually in this process? And I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think any of us knows, right? I mean, you know, depending on the different prophecy books I've read and stuff, the compilations, right? Wow, that was explosive.
That was explosive blood.
Oh, man, he walled. yeah, wars open up those possibilities. So,
Right. Well, and it's a sad thing because it's like a lot of people are like, that's why people would justify like what Bush did, because they're like, oh well, that's how the Lord's work is gonna come out, and it's like, I don't know. That's kind of sketchy, and what he did was really sketchy, and I don't think he's listening to our dear Heavenly Father. If I'm giving my honest opinion, you know, it's like I mean, because if that's the case, then would we claim that, you know, Biden is doing the errand of God by, you know, giving, you know, aid to Ukraine and all that stuff, and like, man, that's, I guess you can make that claim. I couldn't tell you one way or the other, though, for me.
And I mean, I guess it's not really up to us because all this stuff is happening, and I mean, you know,
Right. It's gonna happen no matter what we do, anyways. Oh look, I made it to another area.
yeah, that's
Hooray!
that's exactly like I think the last episode in the last season of The Chosen, where Peter's all upset, right? And he's like, he's gonna do what he's gonna do, you know? And he's just like he's mad.
Yeah, he's upset. Yeah.
But he's also kind of like telling the truth, right? He's like, what he's gonna do, what he's gonna do.
Yeah, and he's saying it like a teenager would say it. You're gonna do what you're gonna do, but it's like, no, it's the truth though.
Right.
He is gonna do what he's gonna do.
And then that brings up to him, who's on the Lord's side, who.
Right.
And it's just like people saying, you know, God's on our side in this war, this battle, or this thing, and it's just like, meh. The phraseology is, are we on the Lord's side?
Right.
And so that is, and it's a large discussion. Sometimes I don't know if there's much more to say about that unless you nuance it, right? So I mean, where do you go from there when you talk about politics and God and how to effectuate any real change? That didn't work.
Well, I was expecting to that was gonna finish there, and it did not. So good. Lesson learned. I'm sure that I'll make that same mistake next time I make it to this area, because it seems to be far and in between. So
that was a fun journey.
I'm just glad it didn't just like, well, that's death now. Sucks to be you.
Which is really fortunate. Oh, that guy. Oh man.
Leave me alone.
Golden.
I'm just a sweet boy. A sweet corpse boy trying to do something that we don't know yet.
Oh, it's a trap. You killed me. A trap.
Those are fun. Okay. Ooh, chicken.
It looks like a cinnamon roll chicken leg thing. Drumstick.
Good.
Cinnamon chicken drumstick. Anybody? Everybody.
Just leave. I don't care.
Right. I mean, if there's no point, killing them.
Right. I mean, it at least gives me like souls.
Yeah.
So it's like there is at least a purpose to fight people.
Yeah.
But like some games where it's like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I fighting you? Like, you don't give me any benefit.
Man, well,
I'm becoming a lot better. That's good.
what gives? Yeah, it looks like we covered all topics and we answered all your questions. Tune in next time.
Tune in next time for more
yeah, I mean,
gameplay.
Yeah, I think that's the tough thing about like focusing on the positive of stuff. It's just like, yep, there it is, positive, run with it.
Oh, it's two pans together to form nunchucks. I get it now. Like, what panchaku? What is that?
I don't know. For some reason,
That's funny.
You know, I didn't catch it, and all I can think of is Monty Python. You got two coconuts and you're banging them together.
There's a dog. And
Prisoner
Doctor of
Doctor of
Mushroomology.
Mushroomology?
No, I wanted to open the door. I don't care about all that nonsense.
Secret zone discovered.
Oh, good.
Shrewd sleuth.
Ear-shaped mushrooms are proliferating these jars. Good. By the looks of them, they should have some interesting psychotropic properties.
Wait, what?
Good old Dr. Tom here must have been spying the whole prison. Good.
Sweet.
Seems to be where the mushroom stashed the profits from his little business. Okay, good.
Oh wait, he's got an actual cash register down here.
Multiple knocks, bow 3, 70% damage to a stun target. Sure.
So,
Okay. It's a better bow. Nope. Oh, oh. Okay.
so do you get to keep that bow now, no matter what?
No, the way it works is I can.
What's that?
So every time I roll now, I drop a bomb
Uh-huh.
that does
Oh,
damage.
like Metroid.
So now that bow will potentially drop. That's like the whole purpose of it. Okay, now I need to find where to actually go. Where do I go?
Did you ever beat the original Metroid?
No, I beat Super Metroid, so the SNES version, but I never did beat the original Metroid. I didn't play a lot of NES games.
Yeah.
I was already on the SNES, and so I just never. When you're a little kid, it's like you don't really buy your own system, so you're like kind of stuck with whatever you have. And I was lucky. It's my mom's fault that I do any of these things, and because when I was 5, the greatest Christmas I've ever had in my life, 5 years old, okay, and I come down the stairs and Super Nintendo's playing, right? Well, my mom was taking me over to my cousin's house, and they had the NES, and I played it, and I really liked it, and so my mom's like, oh, okay, we'll get it for them for Christmas, and so, that's obviously great. Well, so she buys it. She's like a super shopper, so she buys it the Christmas before the next Christmas, okay? So, like, it's on sale, the day after Christmas or whatever, the week after, and then it's just sitting in her closet for a whole year. Well, she walks by something that that shows her like that there's the new system, and she's like, oh crap, and it's actually being sold for the same amount as what she bought the original one from. So she asks him, she's like, hey, like, could I trade it in? Like, it's been a while. And they're like, yeah, as long as you have the receipt. So the receipt was taped to the box. And she, because this is way before phones or anything that you could, like, maybe prove it a different way, right?
Yeah.
Credit card statement. And so she took it in. It was the same price, swapped it 1 for 1. And I had a Super Nintendo for Christmas. And still to this day, that is my favorite Christmas. Oh yeah, it's what's in that room in there, in my family room right now.
Now, the better story would have been. That's a really cool story. Sorry, don't mean to diminish your story.
I was about to be like, better story.
So, is that your mom would have forgotten that she had bought that NES.
Oh, and then
bought the Super Nintendo, and then
that would have been so cool.
And then that NES would have been boxed and never used, still in her closet. And years later, it'd be like that Super Mario Brothers 3 that guy found in his desk at work, and went for what was it, $600,000?
Yeah.
Dollars for an unopened Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah.
I mean,
that would have been cool.
Like how, because we wanted to play the games. But how could we not have had any kind of foresight when we were collecting baseball cards at that time in the mid to late 80s?
Well, and the thing is it's like, it's a huge, like, because it's years, decades.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if you were thinking of it as a collector and you were an adult, you could have just been like, okay, I'm just going to buy 2 copies. And then I'll buy a copy and buy another one, and then I'll sell it when, it's whatever it is. And it's like, that would have been so cool, but obviously it's like me and Pokemon cards. I could have spent all my money trying to get the original Charizards, and those Charizards are all worth $350,000. And it's like, well, first editions. The other ones are probably like, I don't know, maybe like in the 30 grand, but still like 30 grand. And so you're just like, and you're just thinking to yourself, it's like, oh man, I would have just spent all my money. I would have just been like, yeah, just keep them coming. We actually gave a kid for his birthday a booster pack, and it had one of those Charizards in it. And we didn't know, obviously, but we're, you know, you just give it to him because that's what you do at little kid birthday parties, right? And it's like, oh man.
So yeah, so is that even possible now, because all that stuff happens, to actually collect something like that?
I don't know that it is, because it's like, and things come in so many waves, right? Because like I collect Pokemon cards. My most expensive one is $120. But like I would imagine that eventually the market is going to correct on that, and all of those cards are going to go down in price. But let's say I have a card that is really valuable, like it's actually a gold print, an official gold print of that Charizard card. So it's like, it's legit, like it's a legit card. And so, but so when Mario was 85, right? Oh look, another area, a new area.
Bridge.
So, you know, 1985, right? So that was, what was that? Almost, so 38 years, if we're talking about today. And it's like, so in 38 years, so I'll be 74. Like, and I mean, cool, because like I'd leave it to my kids, and that hopefully that would be something that would, you know, that would sell for a lot. And and I have no reason to sell my cards. Like, I'm just gonna keep them, you know, until, you know, whatever happens.
Yeah, it's hard to, you know, like if you know that they're worth something, not want to sell them to get that cash up, but also to keep the nostalgia or pass them down. But
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what's worth it more. Like, I wish I had something that I had that, because like all the baseball cards we have,
Right.
when I moved back to Mississippi in 2006 to go to law school, I went through every card with a Beckett guide to see after so many years what they're worth. So I mean, it was well over 20 years. I think the last
Is
year.
this a boss? Oh, it's a boss.
Oh, the
Sweet.
concierge. Holy cow! Look at his.
Oh. I hope you're easy. You kind of seem easy.
Well, this is gonna be a long time.
Oh, now. Oh, what the freak? Okay, get away from that. Don't do that. Whoopsie daisy.
But I'd imagine that the last year we really collected was probably like 92, maybe 93. I don't know if we have many newer ones than that. Whoa, sweet. Air track.
Well, looks like the bear trap actually works too, so that's good.
It'll take a while.
Of course, he's not easy.
So most of the cards at that time were probably, I'd say, 25 years old. So they're gonna be worth what they're gonna be worth. And so I separated anything out that at that time was worth a quarter or more.
Right.
And the grand total for all those cards over all those years of collecting that I could tell from internet searches and the Beckett guide, total less than $400.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And it's pretty disappointing in a sense, and I don't know if we were necessarily doing it. Oh man, just like power.
Have that. Oh.
He just said, yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't care about you. I like these Punchaku though. I'm not gonna lie, they're pretty fun. Ah! That's annoying.
Messed up.
Ah! Now I keep getting hit. Ah! Perfect.
Is that a good time or a bad time? He did get much harder though,
Oh yeah, for sure.
as you beat him up.
Enough to do this, probably not.
Got it.
Oh, that's the thing that I hate. Oh, stay away.
Bear trap, sucker. Nice.
Oh, no, no.
Oh, nice.
That was good.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't. Oh, that was. Oh, no, stupid. Oh, no, you poo face. You dirty, dirty man. Oh, I hate you.
Yeah, I wish I was smart or something back in some kind of day where I had something that was worth, tens, thousands of dollars so that I can have that, like,
I know.
decision. Because would you do it if you didn't have any extras? Because I guess it's possible it could be worth more. Is it worth keeping something like that around for pure nostalgic purposes? Or pure what purposes?
Yeah, no, I know it's true, and it's like, so I have 2 games in there that are each worth 120 each. That would have been so useful for that guy. I would have had blood, and I would have gotten health back as I damaged him.
Man, it's a lot of work. You had like almost 1,200 hit points.
Yeah. Ugh. But yeah, it's like, so, but they're not brand new. I got them from, I don't even remember. The first one I actually, kind of funny, I just bought it because I wanted to play, the GameCube came out with this disc that had The Legend of, I think it has Zelda 1 on it, and Ocarina of Time, and another one.
What is this, a disc?
It's just a collector's disc, and like, I just bought it from a pawn shop, and I bought it for like $20.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh yeah, this looks cool. Well, now it's worth $120, and I have 2 versions of it now. And it's like, who knew that was gonna happen? And so it's like, and I'm just gonna keep them, but they're not brand new. The cards I do, I keep them in pretty good condition, and that'll hopefully be useful. But it's like, oh yeah, that is super useful. Oh man, that's a super one.
Is this sword better than the Panchuckas?
No, those ones are too cool. Those are too cool for school.
Just like my face.
Just like my face.
Wait, no, that sounds like I'm really good faced.
That sounds like I actually have self-confidence in my look.
Like a
Can't have that. I gotta be like,
faces.
I gotta pretend to be humble. No, well,
Like humble pie. Now I want some pie.
I want some pie. For this key, you need a little paid help. Yeah, I have no idea with the keys. Like, I never actually like get anywhere with those keys. Nothing ever happens with them.
I don't know. Like, is collecting worth it? And I mean, it's a big business.
I think if it's just fun, like if you like it, if it's just fun to you, of course we should search it.
Oh, it's not like it's cursed or anything. You kick it? That's not searching. Are you doing that?
No, the game is doing it now. Of course it's cursed, you dumb. But we live on the edge.
Machete and pistol? What?
Sweet.
Third attack is
Uses the pistol to bump and inflict critical damage to nearby enemies. Okay. Do I like it? Oh, it causes bleeding is what it causes.
For you?
No, for the enemies. That would have been really helpful though with that guy, because if he's bleeding, then he just tick, tick, tick. And all I've got to do is dodge.
So that's worse. It's 135, but in parentheses it's 187.
Yeah.
So this is 140.
I'm gonna try it anyways, just for the sake of like, just for the sake of like having a new weapon that maybe I'll like. Oh, it is cursed though.
Oh, what is the
Curse lifted. Oh, good. Just one. Just one guy.
But you still gotta use it, huh?
Yep.
Oh.
Oh, good.
You just got arrowed in the groin.
Arrow in the groin. That should be our theme song. Arrowed in the groin. When life arrows in the groin. So good.
You ever thought about errors in the groin?